Hey plastic model builders, it's Ari Stone with Plastic Model Builder. We are building a Revell 1/144th Saturn V rocket. This one is the Apollo 11 version, so pay attention to the paint schemes and all that good stuff. We've got some engines going on here. These are the bottom engines that we are assembling. So this is going to be a fun build. Get ready for some model making madness and making this stuff look pretty. Hey, check that out. It is tube glue. Why am I using tube glue? Because the pins and boxes on these are wide and I want to make sure that I have a good grip when this thing gets glued together. This stuff will surely do that. Let that set up, and then after it sets up, you can go on, tape it together. That way it bonds really nicely. Once it's bonded, go through, glue your seams together. Pay attention, try to get them as even as possible. They're not that great seams, they do need work. So these are all the internal canisters, at least what would be visual for the Saturn V rocket. I'm painting mine a green color, it's kind of an olive drab. After I do that, I'll show you later on, I'll go through and I put a very, very lighter green coat just to give it a little bit of different depth of color. It's not a lot, but it is there. These are the doors that open up that carry the lunar module after it goes to connect with the command module. So there are 4 of those. You got to make sure you get all those. There's another hatch here with stuff that goes into it. I don't know what all the terms are for all these parts because I just like the rocket. I don't know everything about it. So here's a cone, which is really fun to work on. This is one of the connector pieces right here that goes on the first stage. And some more little pieces here. This is me spraying all that secondary color. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like, of course. And watch our premieres as I talk about what's going on with everybody while we do it. So we got that canister. You see I just kind of dropped it in there and it sits down. The directions call for you to put that in first. I forgot, so I was able to drop it in there. That's how I did it. This is the lower half, and you can see it's got the nozzles there for the rocket. And right here, these are connectors that will hold this piece together to the bottom of the rocket. These little guys here, really hard to put on. You got to hold them in place and then glue them and make sure it sets. Not a really other good way to do that except for tape. We have this right here, goes on one end, and then the other piece goes on the other end. Make sure those are glued down good. Place the top on this and it'll look pretty again using my tube glue. I've come to realize it does have a good purpose for it. The bond of this stuff is great and it's hard to get off once things really start to cure. So I did use that to make sure all those pins and boxes were down. And once again, go along the seams. All these seams will need work for them because they do stick out like a sore thumb. Here's a little exhaust nozzle that goes on one of the upper stages. It's got 3 little ports there that will go into the bottom, and you see those on the stuff. So this right here, this is for where the lunar module will go, the doors. This was not easy to do. Poor method of building it, but it works. So you kind of got to put each one in and go along, and there's 3 more to do. That piece, as you can see, actually goes further down, so I'm going to have to break this apart after I put it together. And I'm talking about the dome portion, not the cone. There I am taking it out, putting it a little bit further in. You see that glue is already taking hold for the plastic cement. Stuff works great. Like I said, that's why I use that tube glue. Had to bring it out of the woodwork because it just works for this stuff. I wanted a nice tight bond, and it's going to give me that. This has 4 posts. 2 are larger and 2 are smaller. So when we assemble the command modules and all that good stuff, you will see how once that dries, we'll put that in. I'll show you that later. This is a command module. It's got those 4 pieces. Not really the command module, but what the command module sits on top of. It's rocket thrusters, I guess you could call it. It gets them to the moon. And here we have our little lifter cone. It sits on top of the command module, and then it separates eventually. let the glue dry, heat shield in the command module. By the way, I do some foiling in this, and I'm going to show you that later on. It's my first time doing foiling, so I learned a lot. I had to clip that piece off right there for the lunar module to assemble this stuff, because otherwise it wasn't going together no matter how hard I tried, unless somebody knows something I don't and I did it completely wrong. Either way, you had to put these in very carefully. These are the legs for the lunar module, the bottom of them. Glue them together. This will be a gold color. I thought I showed myself painting it, but maybe I didn't. And then here is the actual command center for the lunar module itself. Put that together. You can see how this all docks together like it was in space, just like that. Pretty neat looking. Walls are like tin foil in real life. And guess what? I also foil the lunar module too. So using my tube glue, going to put the base onto the first stage, and we will also do some painting. I use a flat white color. I'm not sure how well that's going to work with decals. These do only go one way. It will fit in there. You see these, just like everything on this, it doesn't really have anything to align anything to other than to just visually inspect it and hope you have it in the right spot and hope your glue keeps it glued down. Here's that little portion right there. This has a couple like things that need to be glued on it, some little fins. And this is all the flat spots for. That flat spot's a little big. I didn't bother reworking it. I just left it as it is. And here's a fin. I don't know what it does. It's got two of them. This is the other one. Goes down nice and easy. This is true model making madness, I promise you. This model is designed so you can break it apart in stages, as you can see, and make just various visual depictions. So spraying the bottom of that white, I couldn't find any pictures of where it was aluminum or not, so who knows. Spraying my white, yes, I got some overspray inside of that, you can see it. This is a little bit different. You could still see the black in there, so we'll have to touch that up a little bit later. When I meant black, I meant green, because I used the green color. Got some masking, then you got that one piece on that thing. Then of course this. It took me a bunch of coats of this paint to clear everything. So this is some new stuff I'm using here. I tried using white glue thin down like PVA. It was not working for me, so I used metal leaf adhesive. I think it may have to do with the weather here, humidity. I saw a video of a guy, he sent it to me, where he put the Elmer's, it was watered down, it worked exactly as it should, wasn't working for me, so I went out and I bought this metal leaf stuff, the foil adhesive. It seems to work well, it did what it should. I followed the directions. I did water mine down a little bit because I wanted it a little bit thinner than what came out, as you saw. I'm putting this on the fins right here. I just work slow. Slow and easy wins the race sometimes. Burnish it. I did an okay job for a first time. I'm not going to say it's the best, but it was okay. And here is the LEM, the lunar module. This is where they sit. The walls of the real thing were very thin, made of tin foil virtually, aluminum, and a couple other things. Just slowly burnishing all this foil in there. I would put on the glue, let it clear up and dry, and then do all this. With that other stuff, no matter what I did, it just was never drying. They say it should dry and be tacky. Never worked. This foil stuff worked exactly as it was supposed to. I could let it sit for 2 days and it would still be tacky afterwards. I don't know what possessed me to foil this, but I needed a challenge. You do not have to do this. You could just go ahead and paint it aluminum if you wanted. I just felt like doing something different. Never hurts to try something different. You'd be surprised at what you can do. You just have to try. And this is me trying. That is the lunar module in all its glory. I'm shocked that I did it. So I'm going to show you real quick. This is the hard part. I had to make a template using height and width and all that stuff of one of the cone pieces to try and make some masks. I did okay. You see the overall height of this. Had some calipers. I just slowly had to cut it out with my knife. I did it for one of these, and the other ones I kind of made it with the tape. Again, thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, and like. Come back for the next video where we paint some black and we finish the model up. And as always, until next time, see ya.